Every day, the typical person inadvertently violates 3 federal laws, and 1 in every 3 Americans has a police record. You probably already broken the law without even realizing it this morning. And I'm not talking about going above the speed limit to get to work, though that is a felony. Without delving into morality or the notion of good and evil, federal law makes it easier for individuals to keep within the boundaries established by the ruling jurisdiction. While times and laws change, each legislation introduced and approved has a history behind the mayhem. Here are 5 crimes you may do without realizing it, ranging from idling your automobile to singing children's songs. Make sure to call your lawyer, we're all going to need it. 10. Fake social media accounts.
There is a sword in Madame Lestrange's vault identical to this one, but it is a fake.
We've all seen the famous MTV show Catfish, and everyone and their dog has set up a bogus social media account with a fictitious name. While these phony accounts are used to share entertaining photographs and unusual stuff that only a restricted number of friends view, it is unlawful to create a false account. Anyone using a communication device who impersonates someone other than themselves is committing identity theft, which is punished by prison time and a fine under the law. Not to mention any additional charges of copyright infringement that the arresting officer may like to add. It is prohibited to upload an image, a drawing, a painting, or a music that has previously been declared as intellectual property by another company without the authorization of the original owner. Of course, the degree of punishment is determined by how prominent this fake identity is and how many individuals are harmed by it. 9. Noisy neighbors.
A neighbor said she saw you throwing clothes in the backyard incinerator.
You've broken the law if you've been noisy at night. Each state has specified quiet hours, which run from around 10 p.m. in the evening to 8 a.m. the next day, and indicate that any music, TV, movie, even your vacuum, or anything else that disturbs any home is forbidden. While the hours of this law vary by state, be sure to return home from the clubs in a timely way. Otherwise, your neighbor has full rights to submit a complaint, and the complaining neighbor will earn $30 for each infraction committed against them for each day the noise persists. They may have to demonstrate that the noise level exceeds a specified decibel threshold, but loud and unexpected noises are nonetheless illegal. 8. Permanent markers. Permanent marker pens and spray paint cans were once stored on the shelf rather than behind a glass case. However, it is now prohibited for teens to purchase or possess permanent markers on any property, public or private. Back in 2013, a pupil was reported by their instructor and arrested. The teacher's name was most likely Miss Karen. The Criminal Act of 1971 established anti-graffiti legislation. Graffiti became popular as a means of expression for artists and political activists alike in the 1960s. But the courts considered it as vandalism and property destruction. Over time, critics have claimed that the regulations are an attack on underprivileged communities, innovation, and even free speech. The pen is mightier than the sword, or, in this instance, the permanent marker. We all concur. 7. Tiny homes. Tiny house regulations differ by state, city, and municipality, but living in a tiny house can be prohibited. This is because the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution states that it is a person's right to be safe in their persons, homes, and possessions against unwarranted searches. However, there is some uncertainty over what makes a house because a house is defined as a building, and a building is defined as a structure with a roof and walls, and a structure is something complicated, which a small home is. In case you haven't watched HGTV, some states prohibit mobile tiny houses, while others prohibit residences less than 400 square feet. So, if you're thinking about moving into a van or tiny house and hitting the road, make sure you verify the zoning restrictions of where you're going first. 6. Snowball fights.
Hey, some kid just threw a snowball at us! Hey.
Consider the following. The month is December. It has snowed all night. You wake up to a new coating of white powder covering the neighborhood. So you gather your friends for a thrilling snow day complete with hot chocolate and snow angels, followed by a round of snowball fighting. You've been caught. Tossing a snowball with the goal of hitting someone is unlawful. This is due to the fact that it is regarded an attack. A small kid was detained for pelting a police officer, while 5 men were jailed in New York in 2010 for pelting their own acquaintance. Snowball fights, while the law differs by country, purposefully place another person in reasonable fear of doing a damaging or offensive conduct. Hopefully, the patrolling police will feel sorry for your soul, or maybe simply don't get too caught up in the winter spirit and terrify your buddies with an ice projectile. 5. Air fresheners. While driving to your gloomy 9 to 5, you may want your automobile to smell like a tropical resort, but utilizing an air freshener that hangs from your rearview mirror is forbidden. In fact, anything that dangles from your rearview mirror is prohibited, or anything that obstructs your view of the windshield is banned. This is due to the fact that behind that delicious smelling cardboard may lie a person crossing the street, a biker, or a traffic danger. Windshield obstruction laws indicate that it is a criminal violation to operate a motor vehicle with an object or substance placed, exhibited, installed, attached, or applied in such a way that it obstructs or diminishes a driver's clear vision. This also applies to the side and rear windows. So, Karen, we're sorry, but you'll have to remove the sunshade from the passenger window. We guarantee your pet won't mind having the sun in their eyes. 4. Idling your car. Idling for more than 5 minutes may result in a fine. Idling is the practice of leaving your motor running when stationary. We can only hope that this does not apply to motorway traffic. Idling is considered an automatic offense in several places. Therefore, it doesn't matter how long your automobile is running. It's a non-indictable offense, which means the offender isn't responsible for a major felony or a jury trial. But it's still a crime. According to the Sustainability Department, idling causes air pollution and is frequently unnecessary. Most engines only require around 30 seconds of running time to be adequately primed for motion. Cars only require a minute or two longer in severely cold conditions. 3. Swearing.
Swearing and take your hands out your pockets, okay?
Swearing is deemed disturbing the peace if it attracts the attention of others. Disturbing the peace is defined as anything that disrupts the calm and tranquil ambience of a public location with inappropriate behavior that frightens or bothers people. While cursing is generally a less serious infraction and is commonly linked with fighting, it is a felony when combined with loud laughing or disruptive conduct. Many have complained that this statute violates free expression. Yet it is punishable by 3 months in prison and a fine if convicted. Keep the yo mama jokes to yourself, and you'll be okay. Number 2. Chewing gum. So, chewing gum isn't banned in and of itself. Spitting chewing gum, on the other hand, is not. Spitting on sidewalks, streets, or roads is unlawful in some states and is punished by up to 6 months in jail and a fine of over $2,000. The same goes for dropping a cigarette butt on someone else's property. It is important to properly dispose of your waste in order to prevent being charged with a misdemeanor as well as a fine for littering. Some businesses, such as Didn, despise gum so much that they refuse to sell it in their stores. So, don't be a jerk and toss your gum away, but also don't swallow it. 1. The Happy Birthday Song. Have you ever gone to a restaurant on your birthday and had your family humiliate you? Then the servers arrive, and it's some warped rendition of the famed birthday song? That's because the song Happy Birthday is not permitted to be performed in public. The Summy firm registered the cheerful melody in 1935, and Warner/Chappell Music acquired the company that owned the rights for $25 million in 1988. This is why the song is rarely heard in literature, films, or television. The music itself is worth $5 million, with the same tune as the children's song Good Morning to You. This ageless classic is okay at home but never in public unless you're willing to pay royalties.